Guys, happy Wellness Wednesday. It's been a while. I hope you're all having a wonderful morning. It is really hot already here in Gozo. And for those that don't know me, I am Beverly Rimmer and I'm a quantum wellness strategist, a detox expert and a biohacker. And I've jumped on today because I really want to start talking to you guys about inflammation. Yesterday, I took a day off, which is literally unheard of. Went to Malta, got my hair cut at my amazing friend Eleanor's salon in Slima, and had an amazing day there. And one of the things that happened to me yesterday was, all of these people kept coming over to me, asking me what this was in the salon. And later on, after I left the salon, I met another great friend, Carmen, and we went out for dinner at Villa Bologna. And again, people kept coming over to the table asking me, what is this? It's amazing. All right, so I thought that I would jump on and give you guys the heads up because I've been speaking to complete strangers all day yesterday about it. And as you know, I am a biohacker and I want things that are quick, natural, effective, most important, effective and safe. All right, and I want it to be able to fit into my life because I'm a super busy person. So I haven't got time for fad diets, exercise routines. I haven't got time for all that shit, right? Because I get up and I hit the ground running all day. I've got clients, I've got kids, I've got a house to run, I've got, lots of things going on, a lot of clients. So I need things that are going to tick my boxes, and my boxes really, for me, are not that complicated. I've got 3. I expect and need to think, feel, and look amazing at all times with the least amount of effort going in on my side, right? That's what I want. I want to age gracefully. I'm in my mid-50s now and I don't have time for exercise routines, all right? So I just want to think, I want to feel, and I want to look amazing all the time. How do I do that? All right, and I'm searching as a researcher. I'm out there constantly looking for all of the new strategies, safe and effective strategies we can use. As you can see in the background, I've got my rebounder. It lives outside in the summer. I'm on there for 5 minutes in the morning. I'm getting all that cardio in. It's extremely good for my joints because, as I said, I'm in my mid-50s, so we've got to keep those joints really flexible. So there's things like this that I've incorporated into my life, and I teach people, my members in Quantum Wellness with Beverly Rimmer, I teach our members how to do these things. I teach people how to literally clean their body from the inside and optimize it from the outside, and whether it is exercise routines, 5 minute, with the rebounder, or it is using a gua sha on your face to optimize your skin, whatever it is, coffee enemas, fasting, I can teach my followers, members, clients how to do them. But always I'm out there searching for more stuff. How can we biohack this stuff? And biohack the fuck out of it. And I came across a product about 6 months ago, which I was researching. And I'm going to talk to you about it today. But before I do, I want to unpack something for you first. Because for those of you that have not seen me for a while or don't know me, you might not know this, right? So ultimately, illness, disease, from migraines to acne, to hair loss, thyroid issues, endocrine issues, hormonal issues, all of these things, right the way through to autoimmune diseases like diabetes, they're all activated by one thing. It's called inflammation. Inflammation, guys, all right? They're all inflammatory. When your body goes into an inflammatory response, not only do you feel pain, but illness and disease can step inside. So for me, as a wellness strategist, the number one thing that I can bring my clients is to shut the door to inflammation, all right? That's it. For me, it's common sense, no brainer. If we can shut the door to inflammation, we turn down and then off your pain, we activate your healing, all right, and we move you away from illness and disease. right? That's it. And it doesn't matter what you have. You know, I have people coming to me with all different kinds of things, you know, that are supposed to be not treatable. If you deactivate the inflammatory response, you heal. End of. It's not complicated, and science knows this. So, that being said, when I'm looking at turning down inflammation, I go, you know, back to chemistry. pH, acid, alkaline, all right? Acid causes inflammation. So if we can move the body down the sliding scale into an alkaline position, then we can reduce inflammation in different parts of the body. And we can do it with food, we can do it with nutraceuticals. Stress causes acid, so practicing mindfulness, meditation, all of these strategies I teach people ultimately come under one umbrella, which is called alkalinity, for the direct purpose of reducing your acidity, all right, to get rid of your inflammation. You see where I'm going with this, right? But it's not easy, is it? You know, not easy not to be stressed, not easy, you know, to balance your food on a pH level. So constantly I'm looking for stuff we can bring in that'll help us do this, you know. And even if we do have a great pH diet, we're going to get stressed. And if we get stressed, that's it. You know, it was all for nothing, because we're back to acid again. Now, one of the things I'm going to ask you guys, I don't know if anybody knows the answer to this, they can stick it in the chat, right? So if we go back to pH, right, what does pH stand for? Now, I've asked this question to so many people over the last few weeks, and they go to give me the answer because they think they know, and they actually don't know, all right? So let's see if any of you guys know what pH actually stands for. We all kind of know it's about acid and alkalinity, but nobody actually knows what pH stands for, all right? So I'm going to tell you, all right, bit of knowledge for today. pH stands for preferred hydrogen. Preferred hydrogen, all right? What does that mean? Hydrogen, okay? So molecular hydrogen, we can create it now, right? But why would we need it? Our bodies are constantly in a state of trying to achieve their preferred hydrogen level. We have 60 trillion cells in our body, and every single one of them is trying to achieve its preferred hydrogen status for that moment we're actually in. So if we're excited, or we're stressed, or we're going to an interview, or we're having a bit of, you know, road rage in a traffic jam, you know, or we're about to sit an exam, or we're suffering in pain, you know, our cells are responding constantly all the time, 60 trillion of them, and every single one of them is seeking its preferred hydrogen level all the time. Now, that is a big job, and it is 24 hours a day from the moment you are conceived, right? Your body is trying to do this, and it requires energy to try, because it very rarely achieves its target, to try to get your body to its preferred hydrogen. And it uses the currency in your body called ATPs. Now, that currency is what your body needs to regenerate you. All right, so if you've got an autoimmune disease, or you've got leaky gut, or you've got a migraine, your body needs ATPs to fix that shit, right? Now, if you're not healing well, if you're living with an illness and a disease, it's because you don't have enough of the right stuff to help you heal. Mostly because it's being redeployed by your body to achieve its preferred hydrogen status. So, you know, most medical trained staff know this, but we, you know, the end of the day is we don't know how to get your body in a persistent state. We just don't know how to get it in a persistent state of its preferred hydrogen until now, guys, right? And so the problem with creating molecular hydrogen is, how do we keep it in its hydrogen form and get it into your body and it enter your cells, your blood, all right, in that form? Because it reverts back, you know, to the state it was in before we converted it into molecular hydrogen until now. And so I'm going to show you this amazing bottle, all right? And so I'm going to see if we can see this now. Yes. And I am going to set this. This has got some incredible tech. There we go. Some incredible tech in the bottom here. all right, that converts my mineral water, if you can see that, inside into hydrogen. I'm going to set it on 2 minutes. Can you see at the moment this is blue, purpley blue, right? This has got chromotherapy inside of it as well, right? So we're going to turn this on at the top. So not only does this device give me molecular hydrogen, which straight away as it goes inside my body, it's going to enter my blood and turn my blood into its preferred hydrogen state. And that's a bit like a domino effect. So from my blood, that goes out to all my cells, all right, and starts doing the same, you know. And we can see this under dark field microscope. Any of you that are in Quantum Wellness with Beverly Rimmer, please, you know, go to the post that I posted where you can see the dark field and have a look at what happens to blood, you know, in there. And what we also do with this is, you know, I'm a big fan of frequency. It's where I work. We now have the ability, I'm going to set this here to recovery, to change the molecules of this water. I don't know, can you see that? Yeah, change the molecules of this hydrogen water, and we can change their frequency, and we can add light. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, well, what's frequency, what's light? But quite a lot of you out there know the power of light, chromotherapy. You know how powerful light is to healing the body and raising the frequency and vibration of our body and our skin. A lot of you know, again, everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. You know, so the higher our frequency inside ourselves, the higher our performance, the higher we are regenerating. You know, the happier we are, all right? And we just operate on a different, you know, frequency band to other people. And so for me, it's ticking all my boxes, right? It's ticking all my boxes. And for me to be in a preferred hydrogen state through consuming hydrogen water, I'm going to be taking 3 liters of water a day anyway. So why not just run it through this, you know, and more gains for me. I've been able to stop taking around about 50 to 60% of the nutraceuticals that I was taking before. All right, that is a staggering amount, because my body doesn't need them, right? Because I'm jumping directly to the source. I'm going to one product that's going to give me what all of these other products are going to give me eventually, which is preferred hydrogen status. And this adapts as my body is moving through the day. So yesterday, I was in Eleanor's salon, and Eleanor's a very good friend of mine, and she was fatigued, it was hot, it was humid, you know, and she was going into that mid-afternoon nosedive. And I was like, have some of this. So I set it for energy, because there's an energy and recovery setting. Set it for energy, hit it on red, which is grounding, because many of you know, and then pumped it up for 6 minutes of hydrogen. And she drank it, 350 ml. And as soon as she drank it, within seconds, she started to feel better. Within 15 minutes, she was abundant in energy, right? And she knows her own body better than me, right? So there we go. It's done now, and you just drink it. And it's amazing. It tastes slightly different to water. I've put Evian in here, but it tastes slightly different. And as soon as you put it in your mouth, everywhere in your mouth kind of explodes, and particularly at the back. And you can feel it coming down. So anyone that suffers from, you know, mucus, excessive mucus, sinus issues, straight away you're feeling it. I could feel kind of like how your mouth feels after you brush your teeth. You know, it's all tingly as the blood cells are rushing there to heal it. That's what it feels like. And then, depending on what you've set it at, this was quite high frequency this morning. Depends on, you know, what's going to happen in your body. One of the things I love about this bottle as well, it was tested and used in Great Ormond Street Hospital, all right, on really sick children, because again, it's water, so we can give children water. And, you know, I had an office in Great Ormond Street for a long time, working with autism, and what this does for sick people, very sick people, particularly children, is incredible, because if their body was in its preferred hydrogen state, they would heal. And so the studies that were done there after the children were given this, why that the tumors stopped growing, you know, put the brake on, and then they started to heal, All right, and so that's what preferred hydrogen does. So whether you're wanting to heal because you're not well, you may have leaky gut, you might have an inflammatory, autoimmune disorder, you may have kidney disease, any of these things, this is the go-to for you. All right. If you just want to optimize your performance, you want to regenerate your body on a constant basis, then this is the product for you. If you're like me, and you really just want to age gracefully and continue to think, feel, and look good as you move past your 50s into your 60s, this is the product for you. And the other thing about this product, it just gets better. You can put this optimize your skin with hydrogen on the outside. One of my clients used this on, they've got a really big problem with anxiety and psoriasis. They get stressed, they get psoriasis on the elbows and around the face and the neck. And they sprayed it on, went to bed, woke up the next morning, it's gone. Gone, all right? No brainer, this, guys, all right? That's not buying any other product. So it's exciting, isn't it? Exciting. And also, I use a Tesla plate to charge my food, all right? So I put all my food on a Tesla plate, and it raises the frequency of it. When I got this bottle, I set this top to the frequency and light, all right? And I put it on top of my food, and it changed the frequency of all my food, right, to 50% higher frequency than I get from my Tesla plate, right, which was a bit mind-blowing. To say the least. All right, so there's loads and loads and loads of things we can do with this. I'm going to be talking about it a lot and deep diving and coming on with some people who've got CKD, chronic kidney disease. I've got some people who have got various different kinds of disorders, sarcomas, that are living with autoimmune diseases, Behçet's. I've got a lot of people with endocrine issues, thyroid issues. All right, so what we know is as you consume hydrogen, molecular hydrogen, your body finds its preferred hydrogen level and starts to heal because there's no inflammation blocking you from doing so. Once you start to heal, you need to pay attention to things like medication you're taking, all right, because there will be a less need for that, all right, as you start taking it. Somebody took a painkiller the other day, and they've been taking hydrogen for around about 5 days. And they took this painkiller and it knocked them on their arse. And they normally take a lot more painkillers than that, but they don't take painkillers in a optimal state, all right? And because they were in an optimal state, their gut absorbed everything, all right? And it went straight into the system and it floored them. So we need to monitor things like medications that we're taking and things like that, Don't just give yourself insulin. You need, to test your blood and follow what the machine says you need at the time, because shit's gonna change, all right? As your body starts to heal, you need to pay attention, all right? Nothing changes, guys, till something changes, all right? And you have to be able to put your head in the game. If you want big changes in your life, then you need to be open to them. But make sure they are safe and they are effective. And we want the science behind it. And I have got so much scientific evidence on this product, it is untrue. Because you guys know I'm not going to bring it to you unless I'm taking it myself and I've had it, fully researched, tested, and tried by me. So I'm going to put the link for you guys to learn more in here. If you'd like to deep dive this product and follow us on some of our journeys with some of our clients before and after preferred hydrogen, then I'll put the link in for my community, which is free. So you can jump over there and keep informed, up to date on this little thing. But this is the first one in Malta. Yay! Although we'll have a lot more arriving this week. A lot more. The other thing, just before I go, because one of my big passions in 2023 and 2024 is how do we stop dementia? How do we stop memory loss and cognitive decline? Because obviously it happened to my dad and it is just fucking heartbreaking. This is singularly the worst condition that I have ever come across in my life for everyone involved with the person who has it. And one of the things we know about reaching our preferred hydrogen status is that it optimizes cognition. It is neuroprotective, guys, neuroprotective. And so for me, on that point alone, getting this bottle was a no-brainer for me because I do not want that disease at all. at all. You know, so for me, I'm drinking 3 litres a day anyway. I'm just sticking it in this really, you know, posh bottle that looks great. And it is having serious gains on the inside and outside of my body and also my brain. All right. And it's helping me age gracefully and recovering my muscles and doing so much more and helping me with my food. So if you'd like to know more, click some of the links in here and go and find out. And if you want to deep dive with us and have a look at what happens before and after, then please do join our community, which is in Mighty Networks. I'll put the link in here. We would love to have you. In the meantime, that's my wellness tip for Wednesday. Get your inflammation under control. Know what pH stands for, preferred hydrogen, and start learning more about hydrogen. You know, I mean, guys, this is, you know, a game changer and a no-brainer. All right. Have a wonderful Wellness Wednesday, and I will catch you all soon. Ciao, ciao for now.